Only twice in my life have I seen members of the royal family in real life. The first time was when I was working in a shoe shop up in Inverness. For full disclosure, the members of the royal family didn't come into the shoe shop. It's just that the shoe shop was on the main street and the members of the royal family were walking down that street while I was at work. There was much excitement in Inverness for the visit. The streets were lined with large crowds. There were flags flying everywhere. There were cheers and laughter as the royal family walked down the street. Little kids were close to the front so that they could get a good look or pass flowers over the barriers. Naturally, all the town's dignitaries were out in force too, as it was quite an occasion. And if memory serves me right, some of them even got to walk in the procession down the street with the royals, along with the obligatory bodyguards. I had a great view, as I worked in the stockroom of the shoe store, which was on the first floor. There was a window which opened out onto the main street of Inverness, so that I could see the happy couple very easily as they walked past. I may not have been close enough to touch them, but I got a terrific view. The parade carried on down the main street towards the Eastgate Centre, and the noise started to subside as the royal party moved further and further away. The sound of people shouting faded, also as the distance between me and them grew larger. It was over. The celebration was past, and it was time for me to get back to work in the shoe shop. I should say that the royals visiting Inverness that day were Prince Andrew and Sarah, so maybe that's not something to write home about now. But it was very much like the scene that took place in Jerusalem one day. King Jesus was coming into their city. People lined the streets. Some people walked in front of the king and some walked behind him. Instead of walking along the street, the king rode on the back of a small donkey. Let me read from Mark's account of what happens that day. As they approached Jerusalem and came to Bethphage and Bethany at the Mount of Olives, Jesus sent 2 of his disciples, saying to them, "Go to the village ahead of you, and just as you enter it, you will find a colt tied there, which no one has ever ridden. Untie it and bring it here. If anyone asks you, 'Why are you doing this?' say, 'The Lord needs it, and will send it back here shortly.'" They went and found a colt in the street, tied in a doorway. As they untied it, some people standing there asked, "What are you doing, untying that colt?" They answered as Jesus had told them to, and the people let them go. When they brought the colt to Jesus, they threw their cloaks over it. He sat on it. Many people spread their cloaks on the road, while others spread branches they had cut in the fields. Those who went ahead and those who followed shouted, "Hosanna! Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Blessed is the coming kingdom of our father David. Hosanna in the highest heaven." Jesus entered Jerusalem and went into the temple courts. He looked around at everything, but since it was already late, he went out to Bethany with the 12. As Jesus, the King, rode through the streets of the city, the crowds waved palm branches. They shouted, "Hosanna!" They screamed out, "Blessed is he who comes in God's name!" They cheered, "Blessed the coming kingdom of our father David!" They shouted, "Hosanna in the highest!" Today is Palm Sunday. Today we celebrate the entry of King Jesus into Jerusalem. It was a day that marked the beginning of an incredible week. A week that would see Jesus cheered, then arrested, then tried, then condemned, and then crucified. But as that week came to an end, another week began, just as the previous week had begun, with a celebration. Join us next Sunday to find out more as we think about Jesus and the crown. Until then, let's live our lives with Jesus as our King and seek to give him the glory the praise, the honour that he's due.